I'm Oprah as a dude, and I love you all.
All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Reyes Reflection podcast, where we highlight stories and journeys of remarkable individuals who have made a lasting impact in entertainment and beyond. Before we get started, make sure to stay connected with me at the social medias at I'm Nathanael Reyes. Take a look at the description from our sponsors, Jocko Fuel, Mad Rabbit Tattoo Aftercare, and SMACKIN Sunflower Seeds. This episode's guest has lived a life filled with creativity, reinvention, and standout moments across multiple parts of the industry. She has moved audiences in more ways than one, building a career that has been on a broad spectrum from different styles of media, genres, and generations, from early beginnings rooted in the arts to the national spotlight that followed. She has captured the attention with her talent, presence, and unmistakable dedication to her craft. Her work has reached audiences around the world, and her legacy continues to inspire people who remember her from her iconic roles, but even those who are discovering her today. She is a performer, a creator, a storyteller, and someone whose journey deserves to be reflected with admiration. Please welcome the talented Rebecca Holden. Welcome to the show.
Nathanael, it is wonderful to be with you today, and thank you for that remarkable introduction. I am very flattered. Thank you very much. You're very kind.
Of course. Well, you deserve it. Yes, you have some iconic roles, but you've done a lot, not just for the media world, but you've done a lot with your philanthropy work, and we'll talk about everything today.
Thank you.
I've been a big fan of yours, obviously from the TV show, but just the individual that you are. And time is truly an incredible gift, so I appreciate that you're giving me some of yours today. I don't take it lightly, so I really appreciate that.
Well, bless you, and it's a delight to be with you. And your fabulous smile. It's nice looking at you as well. You light up the world.
Thank you. You know what? It's nice to know that I'm a little easy on the eyes, and it's not just a radio voice. It's also a television face as well. You know?
Yes.
Have you heard that?
You shine a light, so you radiate light. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. As do you. Your career spans acting, singing, modeling, much more. You're truly multifaceted. You've often said that music was your first love. Is this true?
Very true. I started piano lessons at age 7 and was in all the musicals at school, the big choir, madrigal singers, girls chorus. I played piano for the choirs. I played piano for church. I played piano for the all-state band members and all orchestra, and music was my life. And then I studied private voice lessons, and I was continuing with my music studies in New York, actually, when I was put under contract with Breck Shampoo as the Breck Girl. And then that led to lots of commercials like Ivory Soap and Dentine and Chevrolet and Kellogg's, and a lot of commercials. And the very prolific Hollywood producer, Aaron Spelling, saw one of my commercials that aired on the Super Bowl. And he contacted my agent and had me sent out to the West Coast. And I started this career direction in television and just kept working. So I'm so blessed to have worked so much in TV and film that I have. But it's sort of been another blessing in a way, in that because so many of the shows were so popular in foreign syndication, it opened up many doors for me to tour internationally with my music. So it's come full circle. But I think anybody that loves music, as I know you do as well, knows that music, there's just something special about it. You know, it's a great uniter. It's a great healer. It's the ultimate uplifter of the soul. So I'm grateful for all of the musical training that I had, because it's still such a major part of my life today.
Yeah, music truly has an incredible way of bridging people.
Yes.
When you go to concerts,
Yes.
you're arm in arm with the person next to you, and you
Yes.
don't know them, and they can have different skin, they can have different backgrounds, it doesn't matter, but it just
You're
ties
connected.
us together. Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
connected, aren't you?
Yes.
Is that unity, that feeling of unity and togetherness, that everybody's feeling the same thing at the same time, and it just lifts us all up together. It's a wonderful, wonderful feeling, and it's a privilege and an honor to be able to give that to people as a
Yes.
musician, yeah, and a singer,
Yes.
yeah. We had that feeling just the other night. I performed at Vibrato, which was owned by Herb Alpert. It's the premier jazz club in LA, and I just performed there this past week, and I felt that feeling in the room, yeah. And this morning at church, I do all the music for my church when I'm in town every Sunday that I'm not on the road or touring or traveling or on location, and that's a wonderful gift too, to be able to give that to God and to the world and to the congregation.
I'm a big believer as well. Talk to me about your faith.
Well, I think, I grew up in church. I grew from a little girl, so it's always been a part of my life. But I think it's what sustains us. It's what gets us through the difficult times in life, and we all go through them. We all have challenging times, and having the Lord to lean on is He's our comforter. He's our strength in times of need, and yeah, it's that's our foundation, right? You know that.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Yeah, he's our rock, and
Right.
it's so refreshing and incredible when you hear other individuals who dedicate their life to the Lord, and hearing you, like, I know we had to push this back because you had a commitment, and as soon as I saw that from your team, I was like, yep, absolutely. Like, I'm willing to work, because I know that that's something that means a lot to me, and I love that it sounds like it's the same for you as well.
And your church family sort of becomes, family as well. And so your commitments, to your church family and their schedule and all. And I try to be here, like I said, every Sunday that I'm in town. I do a solo every Sunday, and I do play piano on all the hymns. And I try to mix it up with contemporary Christian music as well. But I love the old hymns. And I found, after attending a lot of the huge mega churches, I found a small church that still does the old hymns, and that's a real comfort to me, the hymns of my childhood. And I sort of yearned for that. It takes me back to my roots, so to speak.
Yeah, beautiful. Circling back to your music, we just talked about how live performances can give this connection. Can you describe the very first time you performed live and you felt that connection?
Oh my goodness, the first time. Well, I don't know which ones came first, but I remember singing Jesus Loves Me as a solo in church at probably 5 years old. And I remember I think it was second grade, I played Sleeping Beauty in the school play, and it was done as a musical, and I had a solo before the whole PTA. And I just remembered it was a magical feeling, and it's been that way ever since. So it makes you just want to do more of it because of the joy that music brings.
Yeah, absolutely. You performed with a country band.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Are you allowed to share anything about those experiences?
Oh, sure. I was on Curb Records in Nashville and had country records out, and we toured all over the place, all over the world. I went to Switzerland a lot. Of course, Night Rider was very popular over in Europe and Germany and Austria, and so I played a lot of big festivals over there, and they really love country music. It's amazing. So we do, my songs, but some of the old Patsy Cline standards, and the European audiences are very unique in that they'll know every cut on an album and the songwriters, and they really care about where the initial creativity generates from, and it's a remarkable thing. I really enjoyed touring, and we went all over the U.S., of course, and played a lot of clubs and a lot of variety of concerts, and I mean, I grew up in Texas, two-stepping, so country music, it was sort of a, very familiar genre. But I studied classical music, of course, and so it gave me the technique to be able to sing all different genres of music, from big band to classical to gospel to country. And of course, you change the style for each genre of music, but if you have that basic technique, that's your foundation, so that you don't lose your voice. You know how to handle the stresses of the road without losing your voice or getting into vocal trouble. So I'm very grateful for all of the formal training that I had, and I'm grateful to my parents who, they saw a gift in a child, and they said, "We're going to give you the formal training and the voice lessons and piano lessons and all to enhance that." So I was very blessed, very blessed.
So your parents were always supportive of you and your goals and your dreams and what you wanted.
Yes, they were. And I'm a very lucky girl. I know how blessed I am to come from the wonderful family that I had. I'm grateful every day. Yeah. My mom played the piano, so she knew that joy of music and wanted to pass it along, I think. Yeah.
Yes, because I find that whenever somebody wants to have a career in the arts, whatever that may be, right? It's their parents not necessarily shut it down, but most parents will be like, "Oh, what if you had a plan B, or what if we tried this instead?" And oftentimes it actually just comes from a place of love, right? Because they don't want to see, they know how difficult that can be, and they know that, it's a pigeonhole type of career where it's like very small. And so it's more so of trying to protect as opposed of trying to degrade. And, I'm sure there are some exceptions for the other, of course, but for you, I'm very happy that your parents, supported you, because you've been able to contribute so much to the world with your skills. And so, had that not happened, your God-given skills, had that not happened, you definitely would not have been able to be who you are today.
Well, bless you for saying that. Nathanael, you're very insightful, and I think many parents do, of course, do that because out of love and protection. And it's a reality. How many people in Screen Actors Guild actually make a living at the craft, right? It's very minimal. So it's a very hard profession. I mean, people come to Hollywood every day and, never see those dreams fulfilled. For me, it was never a goal of mine to be on camera. As a little girl, I was not one of those little girls that dreamed of going to Hollywood and seeking fame and fortune as an actress. My Hollywood career completely happened by accident. I was committed to music, and I think because of my commitment to the craft and music, whether I be a music teacher or whatever would have come. My mother always says, "Rebecca, you're very left brain as well as right brain. You could have been an attorney," because I'm very logical thinking. And I always made straight A's in school. I was very committed. My parents instilled in me a great work ethic, and discipline. And of course, when you're practicing voice and piano, you have to have that discipline, or I don't think they would have kept the voice lessons and piano lessons going if I hadn't done my part and practiced. But I'm very aware how blessed I am to have been supported by my parents to go into the field. But like I say, I was studying my music, and it kind of a fork in the road came, and my career took the TV route as well. But like I say, it's also come full circle again. Because I even during all the TV and film years, I've continued to sing for a lot of charity events, and there are always things going on, and I love singing our national anthem, so I perform it for many, many things, not only sporting events, but patriot events, and government events, and charity events, and I love singing for our country, so I get asked to do that a lot, and I love singing our anthem, so it's been a wonderful, diverse career. as a consequence.
Mm-hmm. Right. You touched up on that you were the Breck Girl.
Yes.
And for people who don't know, Breck shampoo and how that ad actually aired during a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember watching yourself being aired during the Super Bowl?
I don't remember the specific moment, but it's a little surreal seeing
Yes,
yourself
I'm sure.
on television when you've grown up watching football. And as a Texas girl,
Yep.
I watched a lot of football with my dad. I was a big fan. So yeah, it's rather surreal seeing yourself on a television, knowing how many people are really watching it. And I didn't tend to watch many of my television shows. I've never understood people who watch themselves over and over and over again. I never have. I may watch the very initial airing of something just to evaluate and critique myself and analyze how I can improve my performance or how I can get deeper into the character or whatever. But it's as a form of wanting to be better rather than vanity, say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll transition out into your on-screen stuff as you brought up.
Mm-hmm.
So you've played some pretty iconic roles. Before we transition into arguably your most notable role, you were also in General Hospital
Yes.
as a diabolical
Yes.
character.
Yes, she was the villainess. It's fun to play bad. And I never mind being the bad guy if she gets her just desserts in the end, because the message of the piece can't be that it's good to be bad. So as long as the right justice comes and she gets her consequences, it's fun playing the bad person. Yeah. And directors and producers always told me, you look so wholesome, you have the all-American look, so nobody's going to suspect you. So when you turn out to be the bad one, it's a surprise. So maybe that's why I got cast in some of those roles, but I loved it. It was fun. Yeah.
And to also be a part of an iconic franchise like that, right? General Hospital.
Sure.
Everybody knows that show.
Yes.
There's generations that have watched that show, and again, to make such an impact on that show as a character that is deemed as one of the most diabolical harsh characters.
Oh, she was terrible. She tried to blow up Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, we actually shot on location at Mount Rushmore, and GH very rarely goes on location, so it was kind of a special time on the show. Yeah. Yeah.
Big contrast to who you are in your day-to-day life, but that's acting. That's
Let's hope
the
so,
gig.
right?
So yes, as I mentioned, arguably your most notable role was April Curtis from Knight Rider. Looking back, when you were on set, did you have a sense that that show would become the cultural touchstone and that people would still celebrate it now, decades later?
I don't think any of us could have ever guessed that. Now, of course, we were on the cover of TV Guide, so if you make the cover of TV Guide, the show's doing well, obviously, and it has consistent high ratings. But when you're on set, you have the camaraderie of the cast and crew, and you're having a ball doing what you love. But you would never in a million years dream that this show would have the lasting legacy that it's had. I mean, how many shows are produced? And, what was it about that show that seemed to resonate with fans and the way that it did? I mean, today, of course, everybody loved the Kit Car, and it was futuristic. But there are Knight Rider events all over the world. UK, Milan, Brazil, Mexico, everywhere. And hundreds and thousands of fans come to these things, and they meet online, and they become friends, and then they'll come. There's an event in Atlanta every year that brings people from Japan and Denmark and all over the place, and they truly become really close friends. Really wonderful, true, deep friendships are forged because of their common bond of loving this particular show. They build the replicas. In the UK, we had a parade of 30 kit cars that the guys had built, and gals had built, and brought them to be in the parade. And there are two guys in Mexico City. Their entire business, believe it or not, is making kit car parts and shipping them to all over the world to the guys who are building their replicas. One guy makes all the fiberglass parts. The other guy makes all the electronics for the dashboard. I think there's another guy in Italy that has a similar business, and that's all they do. Would you ever believe there would be enough business for that? It's crazy. It's insane. So to answer your question, no, we would have never dreamed that in a million years. You're having fun on set. You know that you love what you do, but the fact that when it goes out into the ether, you have no idea of how it's going to affect people on the other end. So the marvelous stories I get to hear at these events, and people tell me that the theme of the show, of course, was one person can make a difference, and how that theme resonated with them, and that inspired them to go out and actually make a difference in the world. And it's just so special to be a part of something so wonderful that actually has proven to make a difference in the world. Because each of us, if we go out with that intent, and even if we can just make a difference in just the lives around us in our close circle, we inspire the next person to do the same, and then the next person to do the same, and it just continues to expand like a ripple effect. So yeah, it's truly special to be a part of something like that. Yeah, to have even played a small part in the show's success is truly a very remarkable thing.
And to be a part of a program that has truly held the test of time, right?
Yes.
Think about all the new shows that come out, and think about all the new that comes on a day-to-day basis, right? Like things that are relevant now are not relevant 2 weeks ago, and it's crazy how fast the world moves on.
Yes.
And so for a show like that has truly withstand that test, and to the point where everybody knows that iconic, everybody knows Kit,
yes,
everybody knows that iconic beam,
yes,
and the leather jacket and Hasselhoff and all these other things
yes,
that tie the show together. It really does give fans, and it gives people this lifelong lasting memory that they're able to take and share and collect. Like I have a ton of collectibles here where they have models of cars and things like that. Real fans, to the point where it's something that they hold on to, and
yes,
they remember episodes so vividly.
That's so. I have to tell you, that's so well put, Nathanael. Beautifully said. And you know, there's the kit car and all the leather jacket and all the things that you mentioned. And I think the one thing that I remember Glenn Larson, who was the creator of the show, in fact, we lost him, a few years back. I did the eulogy at Glenn's funeral. But I'll never forget, he said to me, Rebecca, I created a little morality play. And the good was fighting evil, and the good guys always won. And there's a sense of security for kids watching that type of show where the boundaries are very clear. I think the moral values and that line between good and bad has sort of somehow gotten a little blurry, and I think we yearn for those simpler times when it was so clear. And I think that's why so many parents now are watching the show again with their children, and it inspires more conversation about values and morals and all the principles that they want to instill in their own children. and it bonds them together and it sparks discussion. So, the new 4K box set is out, and many parents are buying those and rewatching the show with their own kids, and that's a real nice thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. You put it so beautifully that there is this gray area. It used to be black and white, good guys, bad guys, and now we've blended that in. And you're right. You know, like you go to Comic-Cons and you go to certain conventions and people are dressed up as bad guys now. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, and sometimes they get more praise than the good guy, and it is a little puzzling for me growing up in a time where that wasn't the case, right? Like it was clear indication of good guy, bad guy, who you wanted to be.
And you wanted to be the hero, right?
Correct, yes. And so perhaps, on a lighthearted note, maybe they just want to have that sense of, hey, it's kind of fun to play the bad guy. Hopefully that's the case. Yeah, for sure. But you are completely right, even on the boundary aspect of it. So I appreciate that you brought that up because that is so true, and I couldn't have put it better myself. So I'll leave it there. You played April Curtis. Can you describe your role to someone who's never seen the show, someone who has no idea what they would be watching? Describe your role.
April was a wonderful character to play because I think she was a wonderful role model for young girls. She was smart, intelligent. She was the computer expert on the show, the mechanic who programmed Kid and invented all the wonderful things that he could do to fight crime and fight the evil guys. She had great camaraderie with her team. Edward Mulhare, who played Devin, and of course Michael Knight, played by David Hasselhoff, and she had a great loyalty to them. So she had wonderful redeeming qualities that I think, she wasn't a bimbo. There were a lot of those on shows at the time, and she was just a really remarkable young woman, and that's. It was a joy to play her. I look forward to going to the set every day.
Yeah.
She even got to drive Kit once. You know that. One of the few besides Michael who ever did.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. You talked about Michael, and so we'll ask about him now. David Hasselhoff.
Yes.
He's well known in many parts of the world. What was it like working with a talent like him and an individual like him?
We had a ball. David's great. Who else could have played the Knight Rider, right? David himself is bigger than life. He became the Knight Rider, and he loved playing him, and I can't imagine anyone else in the role at all. I remember when they first called me, because I had worked at so many shows on NBC, and so all the producers knew my work. And so they just called me and said, can you come in? We just want to see the chemistry between you and David. And we did a scene together, and we laughed, and we had such a good time. And it was there. And before I got home, I already had a call that we'd love you to join the show. So it was a joy. Yeah. Both David and Edward. Edward was that English gentleman. So it was just a great cast, and all the crew were wonderful. It was just a great team. Everybody looked forward. We knew it was long hours. Anytime you're on a show that you shoot an hour in 7 days, yeah, it's a lot of work and long hours, but we loved every minute.
So it's something that the cast and the casting department, they knew this was a perfect fit. This was great. These are the individuals. And yeah, David is a great talent. He can be funny. He can be serious. I think, like you said, nobody else could have played him. And he was iconic in that role. I want to learn a little bit more about you now as an individual. Mm-hmm. There are stories about you traveling internationally for charitable missions, including places facing famine and disaster. Are these experiences true? And if they are, what can you share about them in those times? And what drew you to that type of humanitarian work?
Well, I think, like you say, when I'm very aware, first of all, to answer your question, I'm very aware of how blessed I've been. And I think that naturally gives you a sense of obligation to give back. So when I'm asked or invited to do something that can help others, I can't say no. Yes, I traveled to Ethiopia during the famine, and we took a 747 full of antibiotics and medical supplies into Addis Ababa. It was the first time they'd ever flown a 747 into Addis, so they had to measure the runway to make sure that we could land okay. We took them out. We unloaded the plane ourselves, loaded them onto trucks, and took them out into the feeding centers and the hospitals. And when we are so blessed in this country, and when you see conditions like that, when you see actual starvation, and you see mothers sifting through the sand to find a grain of sand to put together with a grain of rice, to put together with another grain of rice and eventually make a small patty out of it. When you see that kind of desperation and people walking for miles to get to these feeding centers, it changes your perspective on everything. It changes your perspective on life and how truly blessed we are in this country and how many advantages that we have. And you're never the same. You're never the same. Yeah. So it just drives you to keep doing more of the same, anything you can. I mean, I would go back to the hotel and see these giant buffets at the hotel. You felt guilty you couldn't eat. You think, why can't I wanted to gather up all the food in the buffet and take it out there the next day. And they said, no, you can't. There'll be a riot. And I mean, the insanity of the whole thing makes you crazy. But so you do what you can. Yeah. And there are so many wonderful humanitarians in this world, and so many charitable organizations. Just the other night, I sang for a wonderful foundation called the Global Village Foundation. They were having their annual fundraiser, and it was organized by the founder was Lily Hayslip, and Lily was she was actually the author of the book When Heaven and Earth Change Places, and that was made into the movie by Oliver Stone, Heaven and Earth. Her son, Thomas Hayslip, was the executive producer on Oppenheimer, which won the Oscar for Best Picture, recently. And she does such humanitarian work all across Vietnam and the surrounding countries, and has changed lives, and not only by feeding and medical things, but libraries. And I mean, there's just so much to be done. You can't do it all. So you say yes whenever possible. And if I think we all have various gifts and abilities and talents. And it behooves each one of us to use whatever gifts that we possess. And we all possess our own unique gifts. If we all were the same, would be redundant, right? So we each have, God gives each one of us a different ability so that we all can work together in collaboration to make things change. And so if I can use music to bring people together and to give to humanitarian causes and make a difference in this world, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. From the bottom of my heart, I just want to say I commend you so much for that work, because it's thankless, it's unappreciated, and you will get less and less thank yous as you continuously do it. And so the fact that you do it without even looking for a thank you or any sort of compensation just shows how big your heart is, and shows how willing how willing you are to give. And Rebecca, that's just something that I don't take lightly. And so I appreciate all the work that you do. And, you know, I hope anybody who listens to this is inspired to just take one step towards helping another individual in need. Like you said, there's just so many individuals that need help. And, you know, we're around the holiday season, and I feel like that just gets much more known. And that's the time when people want to give, but hopefully people can do so beyond that as well, because those struggles that you're talking about, you know, I've never been able to see that. But around this time, that's when people give, but that's all year round. So hopefully people are inspired to help and to give when they can, because to hear those stories, it sounds like it's so vivid in your mind that you can't shake it, and it's so heartbreaking. But at the same time, the fact that you're able to help when you can just, again, shows how big your heart is, and shows that you're able to build those relationships and to assist when you can. So Rebecca, my heart goes out to you and anybody else. I really appreciate you all, because you all are phenomenal.
Well, I thank you for that. You're very, very kind. Those are very kind words. But I have to say, helping others is its own reward. I can tell you
Absolutely.
that at this time of the year, I always work with an organization called the Tribe Band, the Get Together Foundation. We do concerts to raise money for the homeless. And at this time of the year, we visit the homeless shelters, the various ones, and we sing Christmas carols and Christmas songs and pass out toys. And it's a joy, and you can't see the look on these families' faces. A mother that sees her child's face light up when they receive a toy. It's its own reward.
Absolutely. Yes. I want to transition now into what's a belief you had early in your career that you no longer believe, and if you remember, what changed your mind?
Oh, my goodness, that's a big question.
Yeah, loaded for sure.
I'm going to be very courageous here in answering your question. I'm a very patriotic American, and I always believed that our government took care of us and was on our side. And only through tremendous research and digging and investigation have I come to the conclusion in the past few years, maybe 5 to 8 years probably, because once you start down that journey, you can't stop. We've been lied to about many things in our history. And I would encourage every American to seek. The Bible says, seek and ye shall find, doesn't it? But
Yes.
I think a lot of truths are going to become very evident soon. But there has been a lot of evil that has controlled us. And I think we are going back to being the republic that we were founded to be, that America was founded to be. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to urge everyone to have the bravery and the courage to truly keep an open mind. Because I have to say, I don't ever want to be guilty of holding on to beliefs or assumptions out of pride.
Yep.
Because I don't want to say I was wrong. I want to always be a seeker of truth.
Yes.
So we must go wherever the truth leads, right? So we must each as individuals do our research, dig, search, seek, and find, so that truth will always prevail.
And the truth shall set you free.
You're exactly right, Nathanael.
And I appreciate that you took the courage to share that, because and just so you know, I feel the same way. And that was something, you are taught certain things and you are told certain things and you believe certain things, and then as you get older and wiser and you critically think, you start to understand that there are certain things that don't add up, and then now you're like trying to figure things out. And I do the same thing on this show. I encourage anybody to do their own research, and they will truly find, because I think oftentimes you're being told something so that way you can regurgitate it, as opposed to just actually truly believing it, right? Oftentimes when I have conversations with people and I listen to them and they may have a difference of opinion, I'll say, just where did you get that? That's all I want to know. Where did you come up to that conclusion? And oftentimes they don't know. It's just what they were told from many, many years ago. And my stance is always that people don't do the research, because it's easier to live a life where your head is in the sand and you don't have to do the research, and you don't have to test those boundaries, because once you do, there is no looking back, like you mentioned. So I'm with you, my friend. I'm in solidarity with you on that as well, that hopefully a lot of people can start to see the truth, because, and first and foremost, the Lord is the truth. The Creator, He is the number one truth. But after that, if you live a life true to God and you live a life true to yourself and your loved ones, you oftentimes can live a really good life. And so I hope everybody just finds the truth. And that's, and I will leave it there with you, my friend.
And you said a very key word, critical thinking. In fact, a very dear friend of mine, Dr. Shannon Kroner, just wrote a new children's book called Let's Be Critical Thinkers. So I would urge parents to check into it for their kids too.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that tidbit of information. What's something you've achieved that your younger self would be most proud of or most shocked that you achieved?
Oh, my goodness. You've got some good questions. I must commend you.
Thank you. Thank you.
As a little girl, I was shy, introverted. I was a bookworm. If my mother was ever looking for me, she'd find me probably in a tree with a book and an apple. Like I said, I was never a little girl who dreamed of going to Hollywood and becoming an actress. I would have never in a million years thought that I would be sitting here with you today, doing a podcast, that anyone would want to interview me about anything, that I would be speaking to people, touring internationally, speaking live to people all over the world, being on camera even at all. That was never something that would have even been in my purview as a little girl. But I think God directs our path. And opportunities came by in my life, and they were never beyond what I could handle at that time. He gave me something that each one was a challenge, and it helped me grow and expand in my own confidence and in my abilities to step out, and enabled me to help others. And I think that's what gave me courage, that I wasn't doing it for myself. Anything that I was doing had the opportunity to help others in some way, whether it's through our philanthropic work or humanitarian work, or just our creativity, creative work, as you well know, whether it's, no matter what kind of area of the arts it is, whether it's music or television or film or painting or whatever. It expands the mind. It inspires people. So just to be able to step out and use whatever gifts that I've been given to help others has been an enormous sense of fulfillment for myself. But it's, like you said, something that would have shocked the little girl in me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. My last question for you today: when people look back on your body of work decades from now, what do you hope they say about you as a performer, but also you as a person?
Well, I think the main point of our conversation today, I think we've touched on, is that how the arts can inspire people, and I hope that that my work has inspired people, but then also not just from the acting or the TV shows or the films or the music or whatever, but that when I've had the opportunity to meet fans who are friends. I don't like the word fan. We're all just in this together, right? We're in this life together. It's a journey that we 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 go on that road together in this life, and that when we've met or had the opportunity to meet in person, that I've been an inspiration to them personally.
Well, thank you so much. You've inspired me and many others. Rebecca, thank you again for spending the time with me. You've truly been a joy to have on the show. You'll always be a friend of the show. You know, not a fan, friend.
We're friends, right?
Friends, yes.
Always, forevermore, Nathanael. Thank you so much. You're just a joy and a delight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. For anyone who wants to stay connected with you, stay up to date, see what you're up to, where should they go?
RebeccaHolden.com. Very simple. You can write to me or message me directly from my website. So come visit.
Yes. That wraps up this episode of the Reyes Reflection podcast. Huge thanks to Jocko Fuel, Mad Rabbit, Tattoo Aftercare, and SMACKIN Sunflower Seeds for supporting today's show. And to our listeners, remember, may you live, may you love, and may you thrive. I love you all.